Hey, what is going on, Queen City Reefers? Welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. Those that have tuned in, those that are watching right now, thank you so much for continuing to support. Those are the first time to this channel. My name is Dennis, and in this channel, we're following my journey as well as some how-tos, some unboxings, and some tutorials, and anything else you ask for in the comments, then I'm definitely up to par for it. I will consider it and then make a video. Just let me know, leave it in the comments. That's what we're here for. If you don't already know, I have a Facebook group called Queen City Reefs Lounge. Definitely, if you're on Facebook, make sure you go on to that page and join it. I also have a Queen City Reefs page, which is mostly my business page where I sell corals, and therefore, if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure you do. All right, what are we here for today? Well, most likely the thumbnail will say it. Today, we're gonna be discussing these two tanks. We're gonna be discussing the Mangrove tank that has a Scoly Island, and then we're gonna talk about the Zoa tank, and unfortunately, I've decided to consolidate. But before we do, I want to show you something. You haven't seen this tank in a while, and this right here is my frag tank. Now, I don't have the orange filter on, so you're not going to see the best colors that I get to see from my eye, but that's not what's important right now. We can definitely put a video out of this frag tank. I will do one soon, give y'all an update on what I've done so far, you know, how it's working, and you know, all the corals that are in here, which eventually end up on the site. There is a sponsor to this channel, and that sponsor is www.queencityreefs.com. That being said as well, though, I wanted to address something that came up on one of the chats, and I definitely want to give a shout out. I don't remember his name. He also sells coral. You normally see him on Carolina Aquatic Exchange, and I am going to leave his info on the description below in order for you to definitely go check out his corals, and maybe you find something there that you like and want to support him. That being said, it started like a little gripe, I guess. He was upset that I was posting the pictures that the wholesalers here. I was posting the pictures that the wholesalers post on their sites for the WYSIWYG corals that they're selling. But what I came back with, you know, he mentioned on there that I am stealing the pictures from the wholesalers and posting them and then removing their watermark. But after discussions with some of them, they were okay with that, especially with the WYSIWYG items, because those pictures are way better quality than the pictures that I can take. And they are of the WYSIWYG coral that they're selling that I end up verifying and getting. And then I just go ahead and save some time and use their pictures. As you know, time is not in my hands. I do not have a lot of time. And anything I can do to save some time, I do. They did ask that I remove their logo from the picture, so I used, you know, today's technology to be able to delete that. I am not hiding that in any sense. I have nothing to hide, nothing to sit here and try to deceive any of you, especially those that are considering buying coral from me. But after a little bit of conversation, you know, he did express what his concern was, and then it was valid. But, you know, all I ask, if you have any concerns at all, don't be an asshole. Don't come to me and try to check me or whatever, because I definitely won't be that person that will do the whole, you know, kill him with kindness kind of thing. Nah, I'll jump into some argument if I have to. I hate it when things are not discussed properly. And in his case, there's a lot of scammers that will go and grab other people's pictures and then try to sell them and then try to make money off of customers and scam them and never get corals, right? And that is a definite valid point. I haven't been scammed, but they've tried to scam me in the past, and you know, and so that made a lot of sense. And yes, you know, should it have been something I thought about? To some extent, you know, but in my mind, when I first thought about it, I was like, you know what, I need to be able to post these pictures, post what's coming, and then when I get a chance, I do end up changing the pictures. I don't know if you follow me enough to know that at some point when I have the coral, when I post the pictures of what I'm about to get, but I don't even sell them until I've had them for a good time. And so from now on, I will start looking into instead posting, you know, taking pictures of my own with my own camera and making sure that the pictures that are posted are from my own tank. Although it is the same coral as what they've sent me and that they've taken pictures of, but completely understand the concern, and will definitely look forward to starting to take some time to take pictures of these corals. Make sure that if you haven't yet, at least go visit www.queencityreefs.com and look around, and if there's anything you're looking for, I definitely can get it. I just, you know, I'm a hobbyist first, and I know this is a cliche that people say all the time, but I always, when I pick corals, I end up picking corals that I like, and I have to learn how to pick corals that others would like. So if you have specific wants, like, you know, somebody was asking for rock flower anemones, others were asking for different soft corals, then by all means, I don't mind, you know, looking through my wholesalers and seeing if they have those specific corals, sending you pictures, and then you agreeing whether you're going to purchase it or not. Because if it is a specific custom order, it's definitely going to be something that I will post right away online, and then charge you for it up front, because otherwise it's not a coral I would normally order. And therefore, there will be guarantees. The policies are on the site, definitely guarantees. And definitely, you know, you're not going to be screwed if you buy it and then it dies while in my possession, right? So anyways, that's enough of that. I'm sure y'all are not here to hear me self-plug and explain all that away. Thank you so much for listening, and let's move on to the rest of this video. Those that don't know, this is a 16-gallon tank, glass tank, rimless, with no all-in-one option or anything like that. Instead, you'll see a CCAM title that is attached to the back, and it's actually worked great for this type of tank. I mean, there's nothing here that really needs that hard filtration or anything like that. Shout out to Michael, who actually sold me these corals, these Scolies, at a very, very reasonable price, and I jumped on that because I really like them. So these for sure will never be on the site, because to me now they're special, right? They came from Michael, they came at a great price, but I did talk about how it's going to change, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Some of mine, you know, they weren't doing great because of some issues that I have with nitrate, and then of course I moved them away from the tank, and they've been recouping for quite some time now. But then little things pop up, like, man, these Aptasia really won't go away. I had cleaned that very well, you know, dipped it several times and put it in its own isolation tank, 10-gallon tank that I have, and then yet it's still produced these Aptasia. But the funny thing is that for months nothing was showing up, and now it does. So it's like, okay, were they there the whole time? Did they come from something else? You know, I don't know. But being that I don't have any wrasse in these tanks, and I don't plan on having any wrasses in these tanks, I will be adding Bergia nudibranchs in order to take care of this Aptasia issue. And then being that I have a website, when I don't need them anymore, I definitely will probably end up posting them on a website for somebody else to purchase and take advantage of proven Bergias that will eat Aptasia, right? So this right here is an Innovative Marine drop down 20-gallon tank. So this is a tank that I've always been looking for a very, very long time. If you watch one of my previous videos where I posted this tank, you'll know that I love this tank, and I don't see myself ever getting rid of it. So when I say I'm going to consolidate, I'm going to really be moving everything from in there into this tank. And the idea here, I haven't decided where yet, because there seems to be more space here than there is here. But the initial idea was to create a rock mountain sort of right there, kind of what it is right there, but smaller, of course, to put the mangrove, and the mangrove will come to the side of this light, and then use that light to mount it somewhere over here in order to still be able to give light to the mangrove, and let the root system grow right here, and eventually maybe even down here. And then change the rock work a bit over here in order to be able to put all the Scolies in this area. And you see this magnet here, branching magnet. I was thinking of putting that coming this way, being that the Scolies don't need a lot of light, so I was gonna put them right under, and then use that to still house some of these zoas that you see here. I am working on the algae. Yes, I see it. I actually went and purchased a few cleanup crew because I'm a true believer that that is the best way to get rid of algae issues. I mean, algae is natural. There's no stopping algae. It is part of a natural process that happens in the ocean, except that in the ocean there's critters that eat it, and you don't see it all the time, right? That's one thing I definitely want to advise those that are new and that are watching and don't have a tank or thinking about getting a tank. Don't get discouraged by this nuisance algae, right? This is normal. It's supposed to happen. It is a reef tank. You're mimicking the ocean. The thing is that you don't have anything that will actually eat this. So then who is the tank counting on to look good? It's counting on you. So here every once in a while, you'll notice that not all the rock has it, because I've had to pick at the rock manually and then do water changes, and then eventually it comes back again. But you don't have anything. And so, yeah, you know, there's some people that are successful, nothing will grow. I'm sure I'll get that in the comments, right? I am a believer that these things happen naturally, and you then have to figure out a natural way to get rid of it, which in my situation would be snails and urchins. Anything small that would eat algae, right? Like maybe even a gobies. I forgot the name from the top of my head, but definitely don't be discouraged, man. It's part of the process. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. If anything, you're doing everything right, and there's things growing in there, right? You'll see, you know, some people get diatoms, and that normally is not that natural, but you know, there's ways of getting rid of it. I am not one person to tell you don't use chemicals. Yes, I try everything natural first, but I also, if I've tried everything natural and it doesn't help, then you'll start seeing me dose like ChemiClean for the cyano, or like fluconazole for some type of bryopsis algae, or whatever the case is. But I don't let things like this discourage me. I don't let any of that discourage me, because you know, the aptasia, I don't let it discourage me. It's just part of the process. Find what works for your tank that will eventually keep all this at bay, because that's all they're doing. It's not that you don't have algae growing. It's not that, you know, yeah, there's such things as you have excess nutrients and makes algae bloom and makes algae grow fast and it gets it out of control. Absolutely. I'm not saying that's not a thing. That's when you know you should find ways to control your nutrients or whatever it is causing to grow fast. But algae will always grow, and you have to find a way to keep it at bay. And in my case, it is snails, it is urchins, it is cleanup crew, pretty much. You know, you'll have hermit crabs, things like that. And those are definitely ways that I recommend to go at it first. And if none of that works, then yeah, I mean, do what you want to do with your own reef tank. You know your reef tank best. And in my case, I've used ChemiClean without any issues. And I've never used fluconazole, to be honest, but I'm not opposed to it, right? So, you know, if it happens to be that I need to use it, I will. And then give y'all feedback on whether it worked, or if it didn't work, let y'all know that it didn't work. And, you know, you take that information and do what you will with it, right? So anyways, that is a plan for this tank, to consolidate. You might be asking, why am I consolidating? You know, I feel like these two really do look nice where they're at. But for someone that has, you know, let me see, 3 tanks in this room, 2 tanks in the office, in the studio, and then 1 tank in the living room, and then a quarantine tank right over there, yeah, I am looking of what I can minimize to minimize my work, and also still be able to keep multiple tanks, at least the tanks that I like. The concept of what I was going to do with these can be brought together without an issue, right? So that's the idea. What I haven't decided is whether I put the mangrove here, grow it out, let the roots grow out, or put it here up high with a high rock work, so that, you know, you have to keep a specific area of that mangrove out of the water, so enough to get it out of the water, but still be able to grow it within, and then put maybe the scolies here, so on and so forth. I haven't decided. I'm gonna play with both ideas, and then I'm gonna bring y'all to what I decided. But I would love for you to give me your opinion. I won't be doing this today. I will be posting this video tonight, so I won't be actually doing this today. I'll be doing this either tomorrow or Sunday, and therefore I'll have enough time to read your comments and see if any of your ideas motivate me, or, you know, don't feel offended if I decide to still do my own thing, right? Because in the end of the day, it's what I like, and, you know, but I definitely welcome ideas. I maybe could use some of the idea and then still go with most of my idea, but leave it in the comments below, and we'll definitely engage in the conversation there. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything you'd like to know, you definitely can refer to the video where I did solely on this tank and solely on this tank, so you have more information on these tanks themselves. They no longer sell this, so if you're wondering if this is still available, you most likely can find it used, but you definitely can't find it new, at least not now. There is a long-term goal, you know, and I know I said I'm going to end this, but I'm going to end this with this one more thing. There is a long-term goal that I may have a builder build me one that fits exactly in this space right here, and half of this would be the tall side, and then the other half right here would be the lower side. I definitely cannot really add another 310 mega matrix. It is, you know, too big, but for this house especially. But I think consolidating these into one would work, and then eventually getting a custom made one that resembles this one but bigger, and it still remains as one tank, right? So definitely ideas, but everything that I do, I have to do it in the process. I have to take my time. I have to put a lot of thought, and definitely have to save some money. If there's any aquarium makers out there and you want to sponsor this build and definitely, you know, get some exposure, I'll definitely be willing to talk to you. You know, definitely can share your ideas. I'll share mine and see if we can come up with something. You know, we can work out a deal when it comes to the sponsorship. All right, shameless sponsorship request, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for tuning in. Definitely leave a like if you enjoyed this episode today. If you didn't, let me know why not. I definitely would actually appreciate that. You know, tell me what isn't that you didn't like, and if it's something that has to do like with my camera work or whatever the case is, I can fix those. Now, if it's just my voice and the way that I talk, then, you know, my bad, but that's not changing. But any feedback is good feedback. Just be respectful, and I definitely look forward to seeing you on the next episode. All right, talk to y'all later.